All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about arm wrestling recovery. I may make a few videos about this. For now, I'm going to go over some basic concepts of recovery as it pertains to arm wrestling. Okay, so let's talk about intensity. What is intensity? Intensity is how much weight you're lifting. For arm wrestling, the weight or intensity that you use is going to be a lot different than, say, powerlifting or bodybuilding or other strength sports specifically. So 1 rep max calculators, intensity calculations, and stuff like that just don't work for arm wrestling. And I'll explain to you why. So if you're an arm wrestler and you've been arm wrestling for at least 2 or 3 years, you've developed your bones and tendons to resist high levels of pressure. Your bones and tendons need to recover just like your muscles do. Muscles recover a lot faster than bone and tendon do. Your muscle doesn't need as much attention as your bones and tendons do. So what does this all mean? Basically what it means is the intensity that you would use for, say, a bench press, squat, or deadlift is going to be different for arm wrestling. How is it going to be different? It's going to be much lower. Okay? For example, I do daily singles. So I lift a heavy weight every single day. I do the same movements every day. I don't take any rest days. There's no rest days in my program. However, if I feel that I need a rest day because I didn't get enough sleep, I didn't eat enough, I'm sick, then I'll take a rest day. Recovery is dynamic and recovery is very important. Recovery is number 1, okay? Especially in arm wrestling. Say I'm doing 80 pounds for a weight in arm wrestling, my daily single in arm wrestling. I'm lifting that weight 1 time, but I could lift it potentially 10 or more times, right? So what intensity is that? Well, if you use the calculator and I do 10 reps at 80, that's about 170, or that's about 107 pounds 1 rep max. Is that really my 1 rep max? No, it's not gonna be my 1 rep max because we're lifting things statically and we're using our bones and our tendons along with our muscle to lift a heavier weight that, say, a full range of motion movement we wouldn't be able to lift. So the amount of weight that you can hold here in a bench press is a lot more than the amount of weight that you can do a full rep in a bench press. Okay? So if you're doing a static lift, say like a shoulder movement like this, okay, I'm not doing this. Okay, I'm not doing a full range of motion movement. I'm locking into my position that I would be on the table. I'm not using my frame to move the weight. Never do that. Never use your frame to move the weight. Don't use your frame to move the weight in training, and don't use your frame to move the weight in practice either. You should only be using your frame to move weight. So like this, if you're in a very critical match, you know, you're putting your health on the line in order to win. And I don't even do that anymore because I'd rather just lay down in some local tournament than have, 3 or 4 months recovery because I was on my frame and I injured myself. So the best way to train for arm wrestling and your intensity is have a lower intensity, okay? You're going to get stronger at a lower intensity. You're going to get stronger. The main focus here is putting enough stress on your bone and tendon where it's going to get stronger, but also recover. If you put a very heavy load on your bone and tendon, it's gonna take a lot longer for that to recover than your muscle. Your muscle doesn't need any recovery more than a day for strength. You can do strength every day for the muscle. It's gonna be fine. Okay, but your bone and your tendon aren't going to be fine by doing that every day. So you need to bring the intensity down to a level where your bone and your tendon can handle heavy weight. So I'm doing 80 pounds every day. This way, that's not a lot for my bone and my tendon to recover from, but it would have been if I just started arm wrestling. Okay, it would have been a lot for my bone and tendon to recover from, but my bone and my tendon is getting stronger. I'm not doing more than it can handle to recover from. So if you take anything away from this video, lower your intensity in the gym on all static arm wrestling movements. It's okay if you're your bench press or whatever else you want to do normally. That's fine. You can do normal. You can do normal intensity ratios and calculations for full range of motion, normal movements, bodybuilding, things like that, bench press, squat, deadlift. That's fine. But for arm wrestling, you have to lower the intensity. Okay, so for example, for my daily singles, I'm doing 70 to 85% intensity every day. And then you say, wow, that's really low. Yes, it's low, okay, but I am getting stronger. And you're also letting your tendon and your bone recover, so where you can train every day. This is the way I like to train. I like to do daily singles. It's been popularized by Devin Larratt. This is not a new concept in the strength community. You can train strength every day, but specifically in our sport, you know, our bone and tendon are being worked a lot more than a full range of motion rep. Like I said, you can hold a lot more statically than you can do actively, right? So your full flexion, it's gonna be a lot less weight than what you can hold here. So your bone and tendon is equipped to maybe curl 50 pounds, right? But if you can hold 100 pounds here, that's a big load, okay? So now you have a 100-pound load on your bone and your tendon instead of 50, which would be a normal person's load on their bone and tendon. Now we're jumping that up to 100, okay? So you're doing that every day. That's a lot of weight. So you want to drop the intensity down so your bone and your tendon can have enough time to recover. So again, the secret to arm wrestling training is to lower that intensity.